think I'll cool it for a second.
37 seconds only.
Join us, won't you?
I'm Paul Compton, and this is Project Sinatra. During this hour, Frank and Company tour Israel, Paris, and Athens for the benefit of underprivileged children. It is the 62 tour about which Bill Miller and Al Viola spoke earlier with such pride. They had a cause. And Trini Lopez, international song star, recalls an incident where FAS demonstrated a love for the old and the infirm.
Day in, day out, same old hoodoo follows me about. Same old pounding in my heart whenever I think of you. And darling, I think of you day in and day out. Day out, day in. I needn't tell you how my days begin. When I awaken with a tingle. One possibility in view. That possibility of maybe seeing you. Come rain, come shine, I meet you, and to me the day is fine. Then I kiss your lips and the pounding becomes the ocean's roar, 1,000 drums. Can't you see it's love? Can there be any doubt? When there it is, day in, day out. Shine, I meet you, and to me the day is fine. Then I kiss those lips and the pounding becomes a large ocean's roar, 9,000 drums. Can't you see that it's love? Can there be any doubt? When there it is, and here it is. When there it is, day in, day out.
Bloom and Mercer wrote it. To open the hour, Frank and Billy break it up as Project Sinatra continues. Now we take you on one of the world tours for underprivileged children, of which accompanist Bill Miller and guitarist Al Viola spoke with great feeling during an earlier hour of this program, the year 1962, and Air Force Base in Israel.
With the permission of the commander of the base, I have the honor to introduce Mr. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, please.
Is it an earthquake? Simply a shock? Is it that good turtle soup? Merely to mock? Is it the cocktail? This feeling of joy? Or is what I feel the real McCoy? quake, simply a shock. Is it that good turtle soup or merely the mock? Is it the cocktail, this feeling of joy? Or is what I feel the real McCoy? Is it for all time or simply a lark? Is it Granada I see, or only Asbury Park? Is it a fancy not worth thinking of, or is it at long? Is this at long last love? Ladies and gentlemen of Jerusalem, I'm very pleased to be here. This is my first visit to Israel, and I'm having a wonderful time. It's been very busy with a running back and forth to every city that we can see in 9 days, but I'm having a marvelous time. It's educational to me. I've watched the growth of this nation, as everybody has around the world. I'm pleased to see what you've done with it. It's pretty marvelous here, and I congratulate you. I'd like to have you meet these gentlemen who came with me from California. We have already visited Japan and Hong Kong, and we go from Israel, we go to Greece, and then from Greece we go to Italy, and from Italy to Monaco, from Monaco to London, and it should be a very interesting trip. And then when I arrive home, I'm going to check into a hospital.
In this instance, he left out one city because the Sinatra tour continued onward to Paris.
She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. She loves the theater. It doesn't come late. She'd never bother with anyone she'd hate. That's why the lady is a tramp. She loves the fine, cool wind in her hair, life without care. She's broke, but it's oak. Dislikes California. It's cold and it's damp. That's why the lady's a tramp. She gets much too hungry to wait for dinner at 8. She adores the theater, but she doesn't get there late. She'd never mess with anyone she'd hate. That's why the lady is a tramp. She doesn't dig dice games with Sharpies and frauds. Never take a trip up to Harlem, driving the big fat Lincolns and Fords. She won't dish the dirt with the rest of those broads. That's why this chick is a tramp. She loves the fine, wild, cool, cool wind in her hair, life without care. She's broke. She hates California, so damn cold and it's damp. That's why the lady, that's why the lady, that is why the lady is a tramp.
From Paris to Athens, Greece, and this is the Herodes Atticus, where performers have been plying their trade for 2,500 years, a long-run theater. in which Sinatra is appearing.
I wish I could speak to you in your native language, but it's a difficult language to learn in 9 days. I have enough trouble with English, let alone learning to speak Greek. I'm glad you all came to our party this evening. I'm sorry my house isn't finished yet, but they're working on it. I'm trying to get it finished. These performances that we've had here, ladies and gentlemen, in Athens, as you know, were for the benefits of the children's hospitals and nursery home. And I would like to thank you personally for helping us with this thing, because without you, we would have no performance to do, and there would be no contributions for the children. And I do thank you personally. Thank you a million times. And it might please you, or I don't know if you're interested that much in it, but it might please you to know that what we're planning to do each year is to make a tour of this kind once a year, and so that would mean that about 1 year from now we would come back to Greece and sing some more songs. Could have danced all night and still have begged for more. Could have spread my wings, done 1,000 things that I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting, but all at once my heart took flight. I only know when she began to dance with me, I could have danced, 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 danced. I could have danced all night, I could have danced all night, and still have danced a whole lot more. I could have spread my wings and done a zillion things that I've never, 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 never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting, but all at once my heart took flight. I only know when she began to dance with me, I could have danced, I could have danced, danced all night.
1962, Israel, Paris, Athens. Francis A. and group on tour for the children. Project Sinatra continues. My in-person guest is international song star. Just returned from a European tour, Mr. Trini Lopez. Trini, welcome to Project Sinatra.
Thank you, Paul.
When you were a small boy wanting to be a singer, did you have any dreams about your meeting with Sinatra, how it would happen, when it would happen?
I think that a lot of singers in our business, at some time or another, would like to have the pleasure and honor of just maybe getting a glimpse of Frank Sinatra. And that was my dream, of someday just seeing him on the street, walking by, or driving his car or something. And I'll never forget, right now we're in the studios here in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, and about 3-4 blocks from here is where I first saw Sinatra for the first time, just by coincidence. Pezza di Amore Italian restaurant is one of Sinatra's favorite Italian restaurants. And I was coming by in my old beat-up station wagon in 1960 when I first came to Hollywood. And Lord and behold, I see a man standing by a station wagon dressed very, very sharp. with a hat on, and there was a black man putting some suitcases into the station wagon. And I did a double take, and I said, my God, that's Frank Sinatra. And I stopped my car right there and then in the middle of the street, and I stared, and sure enough, it was Frank Sinatra. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Now, I have admired Sinatra all my life. I don't think anybody loves Sinatra more than I do. Of course, the whole world loves Sinatra. But I am a big, big fan of his. And I pulled over to the side because I was blocking traffic. And I got out of the car, and I walked about maybe 25 feet from him, and I did nothing but stare. And then I think he finally realized that somebody was staring through him, and he turned around and gave me a dirty look. So I got scared, and I got in my car, and I took off. And I never forgot that day. As long as I live, I'll always remember seeing, for the first time, the man, like you call the voice. And then 3 years later, I was asked to record for Reprise Records.
Yes.
And my dream came true when I recorded Trini Lopez at PJ's. And thank God, the album became a big, big hit, and he wanted to meet me. So he asked my manager at that time, Bullis Durgam, he said he would like to meet Trini. Would he bring him by after lunch to Warner Brothers? He was doing a picture there called Ford for Texas. And so I walked in, and sure enough, he was standing there with all kinds of people, Jimmy Van Heusen, Sammy Kahn, and Sammy Davis Jr., and all kinds of people, Anita Ekberg. And he left the crowd that he was talking to the minute he saw me, and he did a double take, and he came over to meet me with his hand extended. And the first thing he said was, Trini, you're a great talent. And I never forget that as long as I live.
Do you, right now, off the top of your head, when I say the name Sinatra, have a favorite song?
God, yes, I do.
What?
One of my favorites, which is my favorite song, in fact, is Laura.
Laura is the face in the misty light, footsteps that you hear down the hall. The laugh that floats on a summer night that you can never quite recall. Your very first kiss to you.
The all-time choice of Trini Lopez from the plethora of selections recorded by the man, Laura. Project Sinatra continues. Trini, it seems to me that you told me once when we were having an orange juice or something up at Universal about a dinner date you had with Sinatra.
It was a beautiful story because I have heard about so many beautiful things that Sinatra does for people, and unfortunately, not too many people know about these kind of beautiful things that he does. Sinatra invited me to dinner one night in New York City at a beautiful French restaurant, and it was Mr. Sinatra, Tina, Nancy Sr., and myself. And as we were getting out of the limousine to go into the restaurant, there was a little old lady selling flowers right outside the restaurant. So he sort of maneuvered all of us to go into the restaurant, and he would be right with us. And I stayed behind because I wanted to see what he was going to do. And he took out a $100 bill and he gave it to the little lady, and didn't take any flowers. Just took his hand and sort of caressed her cheek and said, "Take care of yourself," and walked into the restaurant.
She may be weary, women do get weary, wearing the same shabby dress. And when she's weary, try a little tenderness. You know she's waiting, just anticipating things she may never possess. While she's without them, try a little tenderness. It's not just sentimental. She has her grief and her care, and a word that's soft and gentle makes it easier to bear. You won't regret it. Women don't forget it. Love is their whole happiness, and it's all so easy. Try a little tenderness. And it's all so easy. Try a little
Trini and Sinatra have said it all. Thank you, Trini Lopez, for appearing on Project Sinatra.
My honor. Thank you, Paul.
Project Sinatra continues. Here comes the girl with the high-heeled, buckled, clunking boots again.
She walks like an angel walks. She talks like an angel talks. And her hair has a kind of curl. To my mind, She's my kind of girl. She is wise, like an angel's wise, with eyes like an angel's eyes, and a smile like a kind of pearl. To my mind, she's my kind of girl. A pretty little face, that face just knocks me off my feet. A pretty little feet, she's really sweet enough to eat. She looks like an angel looks. She cooks like an angel cooks. And my mind's in a kind of whirl. To my mind, she's my kind of girl. Pretty little face, that face just knocks me off my feet. Pretty little feet, she's really sweet enough to eat. She looks like an angel looks, and she cooks like an angel cooks. And my mind's in a kind of whirl. To my mind, she's my kind of girl. Yes, my poor heart's in a whirl. She's just my kind. She's a girl, and I'm glad.
Our in-person guest is Jimmy Bowen. Jimmy, I must register a name for him, and it has to be Hitsville, as concerns Sinatra. Jimmy Bowen, welcome to Project Sinatra.
Thank you very much.
You have been involved in so many of the better things done by Sinatra. How did you and Ernie Freeman have to get together in putting together records?
When I first came out here in 1960, Ernie, of course, was already really starting to do well.
Yes.
And he was one of the first arrangers to put strings on the rock records, at least on the West Coast. And as soon as I got an opportunity where I could hire an arranger, Ernie Freeman was the first guy I wanted. Because I love the way he writes. He's one of the most intelligent musical arrangers around, I think. And I didn't want to go back to some of the older arrangers established because I was young and I was afraid we wouldn't communicate. And Ernie's crazy as I am, so it worked out beautiful.
Well, I personally feel that you did so much to bridge whatever generation gap might exist, and it's really only in the mind, not chronologically, as far as I'm concerned, as regards Sinatra. And yet, still, arrangements must somehow change and be contemporary, and you achieved that.
Well, the thought was that there were another generation of young people who really hadn't heard very much Frank Sinatra except the records their folks had. And what we tried to accomplish was, with the sound and arrangements, to bring Sinatra into the market, the commercial market,
Yes.
and without changing him. Because anytime you take an established artist, or any artist for that fact, and you try to change them, you always fail. You got to leave them to be what they are and change the music and the arrangements around them. And he's, anytime you have a pro like that, it's not that hard, really.
Is there one which gelled like that, Jimmy?
Well, the one that gelled, and the one that sticks in my favorite was Softly As I Leave You. Now, it was the first thing I did with him, so I'm sure that's part of why it stuck with me. But it was such a perfect song for Frank. And I didn't go as commercial in the sound on that one as we did in some later records, like That's Live, which had the heavy beat and the chicks. But it was contemporary. It was a first step for all of us in the commercial direction of what was happening then. And I loved the song, and he came in and just sang it, and it was amazing. I think it was one or two takes. And
I can't think of a better lead-in to the song Softly As I Leave You, as proposed by Jimmy Bowen, who produced that record, than right now.
Softly, I will leave you softly, for my heart would break if you should wake and see me go. So I leave you softly, long before you miss me, long before your arms can beg me stay for one more hour or one more day. After all the years, I can't bear the tears to fall so softly as I leave you there. Softly, long before you kiss me, long before your arms can make me stay one more day. After all the years, I can't bear the tears to fall so softly as I leave you there, as I leave you there, as I leave you
The sound of Frank Sinatra. We'll return with our guest, Jimmy Bowen, as Project Sinatra continues. We are talking with Jimmy Bowen, who has produced so many fine Sinatra records. Sinatra the man. When I say that to you, what descriptive words come to your mind as regards him?
Well, Frank Sinatra has always been to me a man. And for a one-word capsule, that's what I'd have to use. He's a very fair person to work with. He's very intelligent. He knows his music. You don't get away with any hanky-panky or anything. You don't trick him or nothing. You have to be straight above board because he knows about as much about it as you do. He's got an ear like an elephant. Mm-hmm. And you'll have 40 musicians and he'll hear an oboe flat. So you got to make sure. When I work with Frank, I always called the band an hour early before he came in, so he didn't catch me with any flat notes on the oboe. And he still caught a few, but not many. But with people like Frank Sinatra, you need, when they get there, if the session's at 8 o'clock, I think it should be ready for them, and all the work should be done is for them. So I always call the band an hour early, and then when he gets there, he just works himself into it and goes.
Could you embellish what man means to you, and therefore why you use that as an adjective descriptive of Sinatra?
Well, my feelings toward Frank Sinatra are very warm. When I say he's a man, he loves his children. He's very close with his children, with all his children. I know the whole family. I think sometimes with the image that he has in the press, people wouldn't think that, but he's altogether opposite of some of that image he has. He's a very warm human being with his people and his friends. If he's your friend, he's a true friend. He doesn't wishy-washy. He doesn't have half friends and so forth. He's a friend, and he loves his family. He's an Italian, and the top blows off once in a while. And when you stop and think that people like Frank Sinatra, every waking hour, somebody's bugging him usually about something, it's amazing how he keeps his cool as much as he does. Yes. And I read the other day he got mad at somebody in Washington, a columnist or something. Well, I'd bet, knowing Sinatra, that she probably asked for it. She probably didn't expect what she got, but I'm sure she asked for whatever it was. But he's not that kind of... He doesn't look for those things, but the 10th or 12th person that bugs him, I'm sure once in a while he blows his stack.
Has to happen.
But when you work with him in a recording studio, he's a pro. And he knows what's going on. He knows what everybody's doing. He doesn't try to do the arranger's job or the producer's job or the engineer's job. He comes in and sings. And if there's something wrong and you don't catch it, he'll tell you. But you don't have... it's great to work with a pro. It makes your job twice as easy.
When I say Sinatra, what song hits your mind now?
Wee Small Hours.
Wee Small Hours.
In the wee small hours of the morning, while the whole wide world is fast asleep, you lie awake and you think about the girl and never ever think of counting sheep. When your lonely heart has learned its lesson, you'd be hers if only she would call. In the wee small hours of the morning, that's the time you miss her most of all. When your lonely heart has learned its lesson, you'd be hers if only she would call. In the wee small hours of the morning, that's the time you miss her most of all.
Our in-person guest has been Jimmy Bowen, who's been responsible for some fabulous music from Sinatra. Jimmy, I'm so grateful that you did appear on Project Sinatra.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't miss it.
Project Sinatra continues. Funky.
Plenty piano make a long-time man feel good.
Not plenty piano, just funky.
Ooh, Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched as my baby left town. You could have done something, hey, you didn't try. You didn't do nothing, you just let her walk by. Now everyone knows just how much I needed that girl. She wouldn't have gone far away if only you'd started to ring in your bell. Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched as my baby left town. Hey, Winchester Cathedral, you are bringing me down. You stood and you watched as you watched her go by. My baby left town. You could have done something, but you didn't even try. You didn't do nothing, you didn't ding dong, you let her get by. Now everyone knows just how much I needed that girl. She wouldn't have gone far away if only you'd started to ring in your bell. Now Winchester Cathedral, man, you brought me down. You just stood there and watched as my baby left town.
The nearest to country and western music he ever supplied. Another Jimmy Bowen production, Winchester. Project Sinatra continues. Arranged by Don Costa, the Jimmy Joy Singers join Nancy Jr., Tina, Frank, and Frank Jr. singing of the bells which should be ringing all year round.
The bells ringing everywhere, for the sound of Christmas is in the air.
The bells from the steeple above, telling us it's the season of love.
Ring out, let the tale be told that inspires the dreams of the young and old. Love, love, let your hearts unfold, for the bells of Christmas are ringing. The bells on a wintry night, with a friendly fire burning warm and bright.
The bells from the steeple above, telling us it's the season of love.
Ring out, let the tale be told that inspires the dreams of the young
To the melody of Greensleeves, Frank and the three children joined together to sing The Bells of Christmas. During the next hour, the great arranger-composer Gordon Jenkins will name his all-time favorite Sinatra recording. And Frank will explain that he is no stranger to fear. I'm Paul Compton, and this is Project Sinatra.